I come across a story that it struck me because a lot of people don't seem to understand. This is a story of a woman. She's a correction officer, really mature woman who fell in love with an inmate, a killer or an accused killer with a long, extensive criminal record. And people can't quite grasp why, how, what's going on. And I posted this video on my other channel, No Throwaway Boy 1. I'm gonna post it here again on No Throwaway Boy 2 and show you why. Here's why. Let's talk about it. NTB, man. All right, NTB, man. So what I want to talk about today is that they just caught the guy who escaped from prison or from jail, rather, and allegedly with the aid of a woman correction officer. And apparently they had a loving relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about some things that might be hard for some of y'all to accept, some realities about jails, prisons, men, women. It might touch on your sensibilities. So if that's you, you're the sensitive type, you might want to click off right now because I'm about to tell you some facts about these jails, these prisons, and the relationship between the guards and the inmates. Stick around. NTB, man. All right, NTB, man. So again, one of the things that a lot of people don't know about the prisons and the jails is that it's an environment where particular people dwell, particularly when you start going to the prisons where the hardcore criminals are located. And apparently this guy, Casey, Mr. White, he was one of the hardcore of the hardcore. And so a lot of people don't know in those environments, there's an energy that flows, right? And that energy is alpha energy, a lot of alpha energy. And so if you're not really built for that type of environment, the energy will sweep you away. It can literally overwhelm you. You understand? It's a uber alpha environment. And there's no faking it. You can't really fake the funk in these institutions. The real is going to be manifest and the fake is going to be exposed. It's not like in the streets. You understand? Where a guy could walk around like he's tough, got his bandana on and tattoos all over his face, and nobody really knows the real truth of who this person is. And the institutions is different. You can't fake the funk because somebody's going to pull your card, so to speak. That's what we call it. We call it your card's going to get pulled and you're going to get exposed because these dudes are real killers. These are real gangsters. These are real tough guys. And it will get really real quick in those institutions. And so culturally, America has taken a turn, and the turn that it has taken a turn towards being alpha, being strong, being assertive. It is frowned upon on the outside. On the inside, not so much. That's part of the culture. And again, it can be very overwhelming because it's part of the culture. You understand? And now, when people from the outside come inside, like the guards, right? And they have to mix and mingle with this energy. A lot of it's overwhelming because it's like, it's different. It's just a different, almost a surreal environment. And a lot of people, what happens is they get real familiar and they get real comfortable with the guys who were there because they know who the real ones are and they know who the fake ones are. They know. And then the ones who really thrive at the top of the food chain, the guards know. There's no faking the funk. You real or you not. And the guards know. The male guards know. And the women guards know. You understand? And another weird thing about our culture is we celebrate the bad boys. We always have. We've always in our culture, we celebrate the dog. We celebrate the rebel. And I know it's kind of like a contradiction, but because at one hand, a lot of people are coming down on the alpha, the strong masculine energy, the strong masculine personality. People are coming down on it now more recently. But historically, the bad boy, the thug, the Frank Sinatra, I did it my way, you know? The Tupac Shakur, thug life, finger in the air. James Dean, bad boy culture has always been deeply embedded in the roots of our society. Even though this new culture that's popping up that's trying to squash that energy is getting strong, but it is not strong in the penitentiary. You bet that. It ain't strong there. The Lord of Jungle still rules there. And historically, culturally, psychologically even, a lot of people are attracted to that energy. I'm going there. Listen, that energy is often admired. A lot of people won't tell you that they admire the man who puts his finger in the air, to everybody. Big wigs, little wigs, every wig, finger in the air. Particularly to the big wigs. Finger in the air to society, finger in the air to the supervisor, finger in the air to the police, finger in the air to the bosses. Everybody might frown in public, but in private, they may even envy a person like that who has the kahunas, the gall to do that. And again, like I said, it's often secretly admired. It's often secretly loved. And it's often, here we go, secretly or outwardly desired. You understand? And inside those penitentiaries, it's wall-to-wall people with finger in the air to the world, F the world. You understand? And when you put people in there who are not used to that type of energy, it can be attractive. And so, particularly when you're around these people every day and you start to realize that they're not all that horrible as someone might say. You understand? They might did a couple of bad things, 1 or 2 bad things, 3 or 4 bad things, 5 or 6 bad things, but at their heart, they're still human. And because of the close proximity between the inmates and the guards within the institutions, people start to overlook the bad and they start recognizing and seeing the good. And even though a man may be in there for even capital murder offense, like this man Casey is being charged with, and I believe they said he had some checkered past. If a woman is around him long enough and they can perceive that there's some goodness in him, and it probably is, or even if it's evil in him, because some people are attracted to that too, they can get drawn in just by the energy, the spirit of the rebel. That rebel spirit it can be an attractive spirit, and the prisons and the jails are filled with it. And people coming from the outside, the guards, once they encounter it, sometimes they fear it. Sometimes they admire it. Sometimes they love it. And sometimes they desire it. And so I'm not surprised that this happened. I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more. Even though there's a lot of stories of, and a lot of instances of it happening. There was a case out in, I believe in Baltimore, Maryland, where one inmate impregnated 4 correction officers at the same time. One inmate. That's what you know. Imagine what you don't know. I know this is hard, but it's real. People put into a confined environment with a lot of strong personalities. Oftentimes, those strong personalities will pull them in, and sometimes have them doing things that the world is like, wow, you really did that? Yeah, they did. So this was just a bad situation right here. This correction officer, she got pulled in somehow, some way, and had a bad ending. Again, I'm not surprised that it happens. I'm more surprised that things like this at that extreme doesn't happen more. But it happens. It's not unusual. Anyway, NTB, man. you.